Hey everyone, this is Neil here on the Wasted Paper channel. Today I am bringing you a review that is a little different from what you're used to seeing. It is on a rollerball pen. If you don't already know about this pen, I would be surprised for anyone in the stationery community. This is a pen that is just coveted right now, and last year as well. It's just been so popular. I unfortunately, and I'll get into the price a little bit later, did have to buy this secondhand for an upcharge because of how hard and just coveted this pen has been. I've done a few reviews in the past for pens that weren't fountain pens, but I kind of stepped away from it just because fountain pens is the bigger hobby. But this one really deserves a video, so let's get straight into it. Starting out with the box, I mean, you have a pretty classy, clean looking box here. It's pretty standard for Japanese stationery to have stuff that I cannot read, but I think this is a clean aesthetic. I know this is their more fancy version of the Zento models, so I would say this reflects that in here. It gives me like a sophisticated kind of vibe. I mean, come on, this is a fancy box. When this model launched, it actually came out in black and silver, and it was very hard to find. I wasn't super interested at the time. I just thought it was really cool that the world was responding so differently and I guess uniquely to a rollerball. It's just cool to see when things like that happens. It usually means you had a really good design, or there's other factors, of course. This colorway came out in December of last year, and the reason I was interested at this point is the tipping. I don't know if you say nib size, it's not a nib now, but the rollerball refill in here is now a 0.7. When I use pens, which isn't as often as I used to use them, I primarily use a 0.7. Back when I draw physically and traditionally, I've always liked a 0.7. I don't know why it is. I think it's just the smoothness. It's not going to give you like the thinnest lines by no mean. It's closer to like a broad, I would say, on a fountain pen tip. But I just always like that with gel pens and roller balls. I think they flow better that way, and it just fits my style. So when I saw they were having a new colorway come out that came with a 0.7 refill, I was like, it's time to check it out. Starting out with the top, you just have a flat top finial and then a flat bottom finial. The metal on here does look like it has a satin finish, which I do like, and I actually like that it shares the same finish as the clip. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen in fountain pens. You'll get a clip that may be black and the body is black, but the finish on the clip is just a little bit different. This does not have that issue. I was curious if you pushed on the back here if it would actuate similar to like a Benu clip, but no, it does not. Let's see how easy it is to get under. Oh, it's super easy. I almost called it flimsy, but that would be a incorrect word there. It's very easy to get underneath, and it's got that nice little peak at the end here, so it's gonna be generally easy for anyone to use this. They do have a little bit of branding on the front here. It says Uni. Going down from that, you'll see one seam right here because that's where the cap comes off the body. More of the metal, and then a taper to the end here. The reason this tapers is because this pen is made to be posted. If you know about my channel, you know I like to post my pens, so this is a very good detail. I'm really looking forward to the capping experience on this. It is supposed to be magnetic on the inside of here and right here, so I'm hoping for a nice, satisfying click. Let me get my mic over here. The ASMR channel has been activated. On the inside of the cap here, you have an extremely metallic metal. I'm not surprised here at all. You know, you get used to seeing this in fountain pens, but not in the other pen worlds. It is not finished the same on the inside of the cap as the outside. Here you have that like satin champagne gold. On the inside of here, it's definitely just that metal with no finish at all. Just looking at this, I can tell you this is going to be a good grip section. It is so wide. There is no way this would not accommodate people. Even if you had small hands, if you had big hands, I mean, look at that. Rollerball people are spoiled. Fountain pen people don't get this luxury because of the nib housing, but my gosh, look at that grip. That seems fantastic. As for your rollerball tipping up here, I don't know if that's what you call it, to be honest. I'm going to take this off. The first time. We are running with a 0.7 millimeter. I said this earlier, but that is the reason I was interested in picking up this new colorway and checking out this pen for myself. On the back here, you should have that same magnetic feel. Oh yeah, That's great. Super nice click. I love that sensation. Another pro we have here compared to like a traditional fountain pen, if you're like me, when you post your pen, you really want the clip to face the top of the nib. Now everybody may not be as picky as me, but it's something that I just really like seeing, and it's the way it's gotta be. That being said, on here, since you just have a refill, you can put the cap in any spot you want and you have perfect alignment. Nice call out too is it's the same with the magnet. There's no like negative attractor at all, so it clicks no matter where you're at. I actually have a rollerball from another company that does have a reverse side, so it won't let you do it like that. Taking the pen apart is of course super easy. When they launched the Zento line, there was some new refills that people were really excited about, and that's going to be this right here. The refill that comes inside of this is the Uniball Zento UBR-Z, or Z for my other people on here, -07, and then it says Japan on the side here. This is supposed to be a new formula that they talked about that's supposed to be really good, so we're going to check that out for ourselves in just a moment. And I do want to call out that the threads on here are metal, very fine. Look at how thin those threads are. That's great. And then on the inside of here, it is also metal again. Just to read you a bit of the description on the ink, directly on their listings, it says, newly developed Zento ink for a stress-free, soft writing experience. Cushioning POA ingredients act as a buffer between the ball and the paper. Compared to Uni's conventional water-based ballpoints, it reduces writing friction by approximately 40%. Pigment particles within the ink suppress the spread of ink, resulting in clean lines without bleeding or show-through. In regards to weight of this pen, something that's noteworthy is the grip section is heavier than the body. Even with the cap on, I still feel more weight in the front, which will help and aid with your natural writing. You really don't want a pen that's back heavy and pulling away from you. So making sure that the front's a little bit heavier, especially since this pen seems to be made to post, is a really good idea. And just to talk about that posting, I mean, look at that. The form factor on here looks fantastic. They did a really good job making this pen post. For my writing sample today, we're going to be using my B7 Tranex notebook from the Paper Mine, and then my leather cover, if you haven't heard this already, is from Long Road Leather. I'll have links for all of this stuff in the description down below. Something a little different I'm going to do this time is we're going to write with the Zento, of course, but I actually have some pens to compare the writing to. I have a Pentel Energel, which are some of the best pens on the market. I love the violet refill. I still have a package of one. It is LR7-V. Best refill for the Pentel Energel. Fight me on it. I have a Sarasa Grand. This is the vintage. This was a Moomin collab, so I got a really nice one here. I use this little bad boy every now and again. I actually love this pen. When they updated the model and added this like higher piece right here, so clicking is not obstructed at all, I really like the changes they made. So great pen. I actually have a Visconti rollerball. I'm not sure if this has been on the channel before. Maybe it has. I have a Uniball 1. I bought this forever ago because I love the color, and these pens trend a lot, and they make some of the best colorways of these. And then I have one of my Blend pens. I forget who manufactures these, but they're called Blend. It's B-L-E-N. I have a few of them, and they're really nice looking. I have a bunch of nice colorways. And then to left, we have the Retro 51 Tornado. I think this colorway was called Spring. I mean, if you can't tell, I like green aesthetic. And then lastly, I have a bolt action pen. This is from Refine. I've done a few reviews on this brand. They were actually one of the first sponsors to the channel. This is like my EDC style pen, so I've had this a long time and it's held up fantastically. Okay, so we have a lot here. For those of you curious what I was trying to do, so I wrote the name of the pen, I did some fast writing, and then I just wrote 2 words that I'm comfortable writing. So those are the words I write all the time. That being said, I have to give them credit. I actually think this had the smoothest writing experience out of all of these. I would put this at number 1 for sure. I do need to call out the Energel because look at this color. I love that refill. It, to me, wrote the smoothest for sure, and I actually didn't feel any sort of catch. I've never really used all of these side by side before to really have a proper comparison, but some of these I could feel just a little bit of catch when I'm writing versus this. This thing just glides. Down here I did this because they mentioned that it was quick drying, and this paper that I'm using here is notorious for taking longer to dry, and it did pretty dang good. So at 0 seconds, obviously not dry at all. At 5, there's a little. 10, there's the tiniest bit. But this paper is made to hold, wet water-based inks from fountain pens, and those take a lot longer. I'm pretty happy with how fast this did dry on here. And realistically, unless you're left-handed like me, you're not really going to be smearing your writing by no means. I don't think this would be an issue with traditional paper. Normal paper is going to be so much more absorbent than this paper I'm using here. I would say this is an extremely good writing pen. I would even go as far to say this is the best writer out of all the ones I showcased here. When it comes to size comparison, I have a Lamy Safari because I got to use one fountain pen in this video or the government will come and get me. And I have a Kaweco Supreme collaboration. I completely forgot I own this, and I was looking at what pens I wanted to use for the size comparison. This is a rollerball. I should have used it in the writing section. I hope you forgive me, but that's the other pen we're going to use to compare. When these are all side by side, I know it's visibly clear, but the Zento sits perfectly in between these two. And when the caps come off, this is still no different. This pen still sits right between these two. And I called out the grip earlier. It is even bigger than the Lamy Safari in length. Look at that. This has a really nice grip. And then finally, when they're all posted, it is still in between as far as size goes. But the size comparison with the Kaweco rollerball, once it is posted, I mean, that's pretty dang close. It is not much off, so overall length will match this, but look at the grip again. It's not even close. This has just by far the most superior grip out of any of them. Now let's talk about price. The retail price for this pen, I'm not 100% sure on because I'm seeing it a little bit different on a few different sites. It looks like it's $35 USD or maybe $45 USD. I would say it's a safe bet to assume you would spend around that if you were lucky enough to get this for retail. And that's a big if. I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I had to buy this secondhand, obviously new, but still I had to pay resale for this. And I'm gonna share what I spent with you because I wanted you guys to see this pen and know about it and not have to spend the money yourself. I had to purchase this pen off eBay. I had to pay taxes and shipping and whatnot. It came to $69.14. That is a lot of money for a pen that does not cost that much money. I'm not upset I did it. I am happy I did it. I really wanted to make this video and actually check this out for myself. But I want people to be aware, right now, that's kind of what this pen costs. It's really hard to get these at retail. So if you have the Connect, let me know. Let people in the comments down below know. I would have loved a Connect a few weeks ago.
I need an overseas connection, please.
Now let's go into the pros and cons. I'm going to start with the cons with the most obvious one, and that's going to be availability. This pen is so hard to acquire. I wish I could fault the price, but the price really isn't a problem. If you're getting this at retail for the $35-$45, I don't think you're going to be unhappy at all. But at the $69, $70, and I've seen some listings even higher, there's a limited edition colorway of this that's even higher than that. That's rough. But obviously the demand's there, so I guess it's going to keep justifying that price until Uniball gets it together and makes enough for everybody. You know, it launched with silver and black. Both of those were hard to get. This colorway came out, very hard to get. And now, instead of like making more units available, they launch another limited edition colorway that's even harder to get. So I'm not sure what they're doing there. I don't know their marketing, of course. If you want to be branded as a company in such high demand with an item that everybody wants, I don't think they're doing anything wrong. As a consumer, I just wish I could have got it cheaper, and I wish actually more people could check this pen out for themselves. But that's really the only con. And obviously it's a big one. Clearly it's a big one. But I mean, that's it. That's all I can fault this pen on. As far as pros of this, I love when brands make new designs. They kind of venture out and just do something different from the mold. You know, this doesn't look like their other pens. And I know there's two other versions of this pen that are not the Signature. They're also in the Zento line, but the Signature one is really your elevated high-end rollerball version. If you don't like to post your pen, I guess theoretically that isn't going to be something that you're going to love. But I mean, it's really made to do it very efficiently, very well. You know I gotta give this click big points. It's super nice sounding. It's so satisfying. I can mess with this all day. The finish on here, I think they did a great job. I guess I would be curious how this will look with time. Just knowing that I can see that clear metal on the inside of the cap makes me think that the coating is very thin. It doesn't feel like it's gonna wear away. And when I scratch at it, I'm not messing anything up or ruining it, so maybe it'll hold up. Not totally sure on that, but I do like how it looks right now. And then the writing performance here of their new ink formula is fantastic. I have heard that this refill can be used in other products like this, or I think it works actually in the Energel, or the Energel works in this. Honestly, it's a cool pen, and I think I'm gonna have to use it quite a bit more until I can write enough to make my money back on this one. That being said, I'd love to know your opinion down below. What do you guys think of this pen? Is it something that you want to check out? I don't know if you'd pay the resale price. You can tell me that down below. But as far as the retail price goes, I think it's super worth it. But what about you? Do you spend this much money on roller balls and ballpoints and stuff like that? Or you really just stick with fountain pens only? All that being said, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, please hit that subscribe button. And if you hit that bell notification, you'll be notified every single time I upload a new video. And as always, thank you for watching.